Why should anyone care about what you're doing here?
Communities often see planning taking place around them. They see new developments, they see changes, but they don't always feel they've got the power to impact those.
People always sort of feel that those bigger decisions are someone else's decision.
This is about making those changes for yourself.
We're currently on the north coast of Wales. We've got the sea and Snowdonia National Park to the south, so it's just a really unique part of Wales, isn't it, here? And the project that we're working on at the moment is taking place in the Bay of Colwyn on the North Wales coast. I'm Karen Probert, I'm Planning Engagement Officer for Planning Aid Wales, and I'm a professional planner by trade with, roughly 30 years experience now, I guess.
We're currently at Roast Point, which is to the west end of the Bay of Colwyn. And as we travel across, we've got Colwyn Bay Town and then Old Colwyn, which we can see over in the corner over there. And to the south, we've got...
Yeah, it's Bryn y Mine, isn't it, to the south?
My name is Sam Whitehouse. I am a recent graduate from Cardiff University, where I did my master's degree in spatial planning. I started working for Planning Aid during my degree. I've now graduated and work mainly on place plans and community engagement.
So Colwyn Bay was traditionally a strong Victorian seaside resort, and like many other towns over the last 100 years or so, has struggled with the decline of tourism that's endemic to North Wales and the rest of the area. My name is James Davis and I am Chief Executive of Planning Aid Wales, which is a charity that supports community engagement in the planning process in Wales. Planning Aid Wales has been brought in to work with people within the Bay of Colwyn area over a period of 12 months to help get to know and understand the issues, the geography, the demographics, to create what's called a place plan. At its essence, a place plan is a community-led and community-produced plan that looks at the area they live in and makes a plan for how they would like to see it evolve and change and improve for the better over time. What's important, what people love, how things should be improved, what the challenges are, and most importantly, what the opportunities are for the area.
What a place plan does is it helps local people to write their plan for their local area with the real local detail and knowledge. So when planning officers at the county level make decisions about planning, so decisions on what will be built, what won't be built, it's the place plan that is able to offer that really fine detail.
And it can really help inform a developer as they're planning their scheme. So really, a forward-thinking developer could use the place plan as a guide. And when communities ask what influence over the process the place plan might give them, interaction with developers is one of those key areas.
It's really important for local communities to engage with planning because that's the basis of it, really. You know, if they don't have a voice, if they're not able to get involved, then sort of professional planners, I suppose, will not know what the local community are wanting, what they want their area to look like over the next 10, 20 years.
For me, it's critical to have that public say. It's part of our democracy that we have a say, particularly over how our environments are shaped over time. The remit of the planning system is that development should take place within the public interest. Very often we respond to market forces in the planning system. Very often we're responding to the needs of individuals or developers or private interests, and that doesn't always go hand in hand with public interest. Local people know their area really well. The history, the type of use, the way people move around a space within their area, and that's, for me, crucial within the planning process, getting that information in.
The planning profession needs to hear people on the ground and to hear what they've got to say.
As Planning Aid Wales, we're not here to come in and do the plan. We're here to come in and facilitate the plan and come in and help the community to do their plan.
Really, the project was initiated by the people of the Bay of Colwyn area. They made the decision. They wanted to produce a plan. These are people that have either dedicated their lives to public service or have worked as business owners or community sort of developers in the area. Of course, what they all share is a passion for improving the area in which they live.
A
and see Colwyn Victoria Pier. Yeah. Behind this, you've got the town centre, then you've got the Pulkercrocken Woods, so the massive woodland, and then you've got Colwyn Heights.
So I am the town clerk in Colwyn Bay. I've been here since 2010. This part of North Wales has been special to me my whole life. I grew up in South Manchester but moved to Colwyn Bay in 1996 with my young family at that stage. But very quickly settled and felt it was a nice community, felt very welcome, and yeah, it's been there ever since.
Surprising how quick you can make them when you've been doing it for nearly 8 years. Colwyn Bay has become our home in 8 years. I run the guest house in Colwyn Bay, Brimwoodlands House, and for us it's been the best move. It's such a lovely area. There's so much here, and you know, who can fault having the woods just up the hill and having the beach just down the front? So it's really nice for us, yeah.
So I moved to the Bay of Colwyn when I was dragging a toddler and pregnant. I came with my husband, and then not long after, my parents followed and moved in next door. About 5.5 years ago, I was elected to be a town councillor representing Rose Ward in Rose-on-Sea. And then 6 months ago, I was lucky enough to be elected county councillor as well.
I'm a member of the Colwyn Bay Heritage Group.
Well, I'm fairly new to the area compared with some other people. I've been here 20 years. I haven't got the history that Brian has got in this town.
Well, I lived here all my life. The last sort of 70 years, it's where I've always lived. My family moved here when I was 3. Colwyn Bay was a thriving holiday resort. I mean, this was supposed to be the cream of the holiday resorts on the North Wales coast.
Yeah. We retired to Colwyn Bay because a member of my wife's family was living here, and grew to love the town and remember my time as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old coming to North Wales. It's a great place to bring up children, because they've got the beach, they've got the woods, and then just down the road we've got rural communities.
Being able to go to the beach after school, I mean, we couldn't have done that where we were living before. We have the most wonderful little theatre which you can go to, and I think I'm the only person in our family that's not actually performed on stage there.
It's an old Victorian town, so it's got a lot of history, a lot of character in the buildings.
I see a lot of people who give up time to do things for others, look after each other, and especially, I suppose, coming through COVID and seeing how people stepped up, that kind of generous kind of kindness and looking out for each other that comes across to me most of all.
I think you and I are both optimists.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can see that it can be improved, and we're willing to be part of that team that do the improvements, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we could make a big difference to the town because it is a really positive community. If we all come together and talk the same talk as such, then we can definitely make a change, and that's one of the reasons being on the place plan really, is to feel that I can actually contribute to making a difference to the town.
Our first step within the process is having a big event where we bring lots of people from different backgrounds to really start talking about what are the challenges? You know, what are the challenges facing this area? What could be done about them? What has been done about them in the past? And how we might sort of start framing some of the issues for future engagement stages.
It's the first meeting point of interested people who want to get involved with the place plan. People sat on round tables, interacting, and that's where the ideas are generated initially.
You need to tell us, you know the area, we don't, what's important, who's who and what's what, really?
We've got people from the local authority here, obviously town council, we've got people from the business community, people from education schools, youth groups, community centres.
It's really exciting to see people together again and interacting, but getting stakeholders to be involved with the project is really a key to the whole of the place plan development.
The opportunities window's got the most written on it of all of them, so there's some positivity there.
I definitely have optimism. I always have in Colwyn Bay. I think that it's a fantastic place. So I think that something like this, if the town council can get something strong, get a good foothold, I think they can make some good things happen.
I think there's been quite a lot of positive talk about the town rather than negative talk, and it's about focusing on the positive and what we've got here rather than focusing on what has been. We need to draw a line and move forward and get the town as it should be.
What we find, of course, is actually getting people into a room pays dividends in itself. So really the value is as much, if not more, in the process than it is in the final product.
What I find interesting with it is that people do realise that actually their concerns very much overlap with each other.
It really does help build relationships. It helps build working relationships, more importantly. It helps overcome past prejudices and helps people come together to work towards something, which is often lacking, I find, in public life. But this is just the start. During May and June, we'll be doing 5 community drop-in sessions in different points on the map.
We then use the information that stakeholders have given us to go out to the community and do extensive community engagement. And that's a long process. We engage with the whole community at every level.
Of course, the difficulty we've got is you say community engagement to the average person on the street and they will roll their eyes. They will instantly create an image of their head of an old church hall type building with some tables, probably some maps laid out on it, which is populated by predominantly old people, retired people. For me, that's not meaningful or that's not holistic engagement. So for example, we go to shopping centres where there's good footfall and people are walking through all day. We can actually capture people and sort of generate some interest, because you really do need to get out there to where people are in their everyday lives.
Today we've got a drop-in session. We've come into a more central location today in the Bayview Centre in Colwyn Bay. We've been in the main foyer area, so we've been getting all the people who've come in for their shopping. We had drop-in sessions in each community across the area, so one in Roseland-Sea, one up in Colwyn Heights. We've got this one today in Colwyn Bay, and we've got one coming up in Old Colwyn, so all areas have been covered.
So if you want to write about somewhere you love, it's colour-coded green. Yeah, places for improvement in yellow, and places that are important in the purple. We're hopefully getting ideas from people as to how it should develop for the future. So in, say, 30 years' time, the sort of ideas that are put down on these tables actually comes to fruition. Have another one. Yeah. Our town has so many good things going for it. It's a beautiful place. All the different styles of architecture, the different styles of building. There are green areas, there are hills, there are woodlands, there are streams. You know, all here within our town.
I love the front bit,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
It is, it's lovely, isn't it?
The ruined castle is beautiful.
Yeah, it's lovely. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
One of the key things that we're starting to find with Colwyn Bay is that people love their area. During our engagement, one of our boards is called Love Colwyn Bay, and we're asking people to pinpoint the things they love. And hopefully that will translate into what we should be protecting.
So the community engagement exercises we do are not about people telling us what's wrong. If we broke it down to the technical number of questions, we only have one question on what the challenges are. The rest of our questions focus around what can be celebrated about an area, what can be improved, what could be grown, what already works that should be made more of. That's really at the crux of our engagement work.
This one is thinking about what do you want for the Bay of Colwyn in 2037. That's in 15 years' time. How old will you be in 15 years? 26.
I'm 11. I'll be old now.
Old. 26 is really old. One challenge we have is always to get that sort of the demographic of the area, you know, from the younger population through to the older generations, and we do want the younger people involved because it's their future, it's their area.
Maybe more fields and stuff for like people to walk on, and put like 3 boxes where the path starts. And one like a scavenger.
Very often we get the most creative feedback from those young people who are often overlooked within a sort of a statutory engagement process.
As part of the community engagement activity for our place plan, we obviously looked at a number of ways in which we could connect with the local community, and we're very aware that a lot would engage quickly and easily online, so a place plan website was developed. This is how people could find out more and get involved, so they could do this to have a look at the timeline of the project, see when it started, where we're up to now, what are the next steps. And the community map on the site enable people to be able to click on the map and actually almost put a post-it note on digitally. I think if I click on one of these little things, well, hopefully, there we are. It opens up a little comment box so somebody can read what somebody else said about that particular area. So this is Penryn Road, and somebody was saying it's looking really great, good cafes and some quality independent shops. You know, we wanted people to respond to the site and to submit comments and observations, which have been taken into consideration alongside, you know, the physical face-to-face engagement that we did. And yes, hopefully as the conversation continues, people will continue to react and use that as a way of getting back to us. We know many people now, you know, use online tools. That's what fits into their busy lives best. So we've got to be available so that they can engage with us in whatever way is easier for them.
I'm going to tell you in the next 10 minutes or so the work that we've done so far, but really we're getting down to nuts and bolts today.
The place plan is a long process. We can't just do the engagement, write it all down and hand it over. We've done the engagement, we've pulled all that together, and now we've gone back to stakeholders and said, this is what the community's been telling us. Does this mirror your understanding?
So, the themes we've identified within this plan, there are 8 of them, and some of them capture some other topics, but we've got business and retail. There's a lot of back and forth between the different stakeholders involved in the production of the plan. It really helps build a sort of sense of ownership over the plan that goes beyond this is a community plan and this is a local authority plan. Really, everybody starts working together to produce a plan that is beneficial for everyone. We are nearly there. So what we're going to do now, who said that? Who was that? Yeah, thank you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull it all together into a draft plan. Underlying it all is you will never get people to agree about everything. And community engagement work is not about achieving 100% consensus on every issue. It's about bringing people together to communicate with each other. We've got one more little step, which is going to gather some more evidence.
We've done the sitting at desks and collating information from the community. We've done lots of workshops for that, and now actually getting out and marking down what everybody's commented on.
I imagine it's just a locked gate of some
Yeah,
sort, but let's go have a look. I've never been up here, so...
Times everything.
So that must go under the line, and then...
You can see daylight, so there must be some stairs back up to the platform.
Yeah. I'm going down the retail part of the town to find out what the properties are. So have we got empty shops, empty units, or what's in the units so that we can categorise them and then work with those.
So there's 2 here then, either side of the underpass.
Any project that happens, there's always going to be those people that come and help you put that project together, and yeah, quite frankly, they could just come out, take pictures, write notes down, but actually being in the community, living in the community and being part of it, you know that you're putting your stamp on it as well, and then you know it's not just a bigwig led project. And so it's a good thing that we've all come out today to do this, and over the next few days I think it's brilliant. We've been going over a year, and we've been meeting with the community in workshops, getting information together. This is sort of the next stage, which is nearly the final stage before the actual plan is put together. That's when our work then, we become an active group and actually making that plan into things that are going to happen.
The place plan process that we've been working on is coming to the final stages, but by no means is it the end of the process.
The place plan will have a 15-year vision, so what we want the place to look like within 15 years' time. Really, this should be taken as a first step, and that's for me what a place plan should be about. It's the starting point, not the finish point.
So we're hoping that we'll have an adopted place plan early next year, and we can then start working proactively on looking at some of the actions and the projects that are identified as part of that plan. Some things can be delivered quickly, but other things will take probably many years. It's being realistic about that.
So 15 years from now, well, I'm hoping I'm still around to enjoy and to thrive in this area. I'd like to see that there's plenty of things for me to go to. I'd like to see that there's plenty of opportunity for our children who and our younger people and you know, middle-aged to be working and contributing to the economy, and actually be making sure that all of us residents are enjoying the best of life, not just a life, but the best of life.
Being the optimist, I'd like to see the whole of the plan has been done from top to bottom.
Yeah, and hopefully in 15 years we'll say that community place plan in 2023, as it will be,
has worked.
Has worked. Yeah.
You see artist impressions of places, you know, when they're doing a new mall somewhere or something, and you see the people sitting and walking around outside. I'd love that to be the reality, not just an artist's impression of what could be. I would love it to be Colwyn Bay is the place to be seen. It's the centre of North Wales. If you've not been to Colwyn Bay, you've not been to North Wales type of thing. I'd love that. I would.
So as a county councillor and a town councillor, obviously I'm doing this for my residents and for the community. But I'm also a mum and I've got 2 kids. But I really hope that they'll come back here and work here.
I'm doing it for my town, for my hometown. I'm doing it for the community that I care about, that I've chosen to make my home, and I want to be better for the next generation.
Those school children that we've been talking to, they'll be the ones that are in, you know, they'll be working in the area. I'm really hoping that they see the benefits of this.
As oldies, you know, we can give input as much as we like, but you know, potentially we're not going to be here in 20 years' time, but they are, and I hope that they'll end up being proud of what we've done on their behalf.
It is absolutely a selfless thing to do. The people that are on the current steering committee and people who are delivering place plans in other parts of Wales, it's not about what their individual wants or needs are. It's about trying to create places that are better for everyone. It's about delivering for the next generation, our children and their children. So yeah, really these people are forward thinking. They are thinking about the future that might not necessarily serve them. They want to create something, they want to create growth, they want to create a little bit of a movement for the community to take ownership over the place they live in.